Impeachment witch hunt will be Trump's political asset. That is the topic of today's op-ed live. So Fox News reported that ex-White House official testified he wasn't concerned anything illegal was discussed on Trump-Ukraine call. So you can't see this news on CNN or MSNBC. A top White House advisor on the National Security Council testified Thursday to the House impeachment inquiry that he did not believe anything illegal was discussed during President Trump's July 25th call with Ukraine's president, even as he confirmed details about Trump's efforts to push Ukraine to investigate his political rivals. You saw all the other news from the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, LA Times, that there's a whistleblower that claimed that Trump did an impeachable offense, right? But how about this? Tim Morrison, who handled Russian and European affairs for the NSC, was listening in on the call between Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky from the White House Situation Room. And in an opening statement, he said this: "I want to be clear. I was not concerned that anything illegal was discussed." Okay? So he felt Trump did no wrong. I read the transcript, and I think he did nothing wrong. If you have common sense, anybody would come to that conclusion. But if you're a political hack and a far-left loon, you would believe that he did something impeachable. It's just insane. The whole thing, it's just crazy. It's a political show. And like my title says, this impeachment witch hunt will be Trump's biggest political asset. That's why I believe he's going to win big time next year, even bigger than 2016. So Morrison also largely confirmed much of what acting U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Bill Taylor said in an earlier testimony. It was Morrison who alerted Taylor, whose recent testimony contradicted Trump's repeated denials that there was any quid pro quo to alleged efforts to link U.S. aid for Ukraine to Trump's investigation request. This is what he said: "I can confirm that the substance of his statement as it relates to conversations he and I had is accurate." Okay? Is accurate. So this guy, Tim Morrison, he said what Trump said was, there's nothing wrong about it. But what did the House did yesterday? They held a vote about impeachment inquiry, and they passed the bill. Okay, so it is official. The whole thing is official, yet it is still a witch hunt. It was bipartisan on the Republican side, not on the Democrat side. There were 2 Democrats who voted against this impeachment probe. I applaud them. They did the righteous thing. And, we have to applaud those Democrats. So it continues. Mr. Morrison's testimony is very damaging to the Democrat narrative. Who said that? Mark Meadows, the representative, Mark Meadows from North Carolina. And he continues, they've all of a sudden gotten quiet today because this particular witness is very credible and has given evidence that suggests some of the other witnesses have been less than candid. Meadows also told reporters that today is a great day for the president, and if any witness would suggest that the impeachment resolution that was passed earlier today should come to a screeching halt, it's this one, okay? The Democrats have shown great interest in Morrison's testimony. They were first excited about it, but they didn't like the words that were coming out of his mouth, okay? This request and allegations of a quid pro quo tied to military aid are at the heart of the impeachment probe. So what are we even talking about here, right? The whistleblower that the Democrat, that Adam Schiff met, he lied about it, by the way, that he said that he never had contact with him, but actually it was found out that he did meet with him, and there's a lot of reports that he coached him, okay? This dude, this whistleblower, he's a political hack. He's a 33-year-old guy who graduated Harvard. I think his first name is Eric. This guy, he's a political hack. He worked for John Brennan. He worked in the Obama administration. He's a never-Trumper. So why do we have to believe him? And you know what? he is going with hearsay. He's not, he didn't actually listen to what Trump said when Trump talked with the Ukrainian president, okay? He didn't. He's just going by hearsay. I think the American people will see the truth. They would finally, people who still believe in the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, or LA Times, they would finally realize how fake they are. And they would finally realize how evil these Democrats and the mainstream media are. I think this will be the awakening point. I really believe that. I think this whole impeachment process will wake up a lot of American people. If there are still people out there who believes in the mainstream media, I think they will say, oh, there's something wrong about this. You know, there's something really wrong about this. I think they're going to wake up to the truth. You know, and as this process goes, as the investigation goes, the Republicans also have the right to ask questions. And they're going to ask really sharp and pithy questions regarding this whole shenanigan. They're going to bring in the whistleblower. If they don't, the Senate side should, okay? And they're going to get to the bottom of this. It's going to be all revealed. And I don't know how the mainstream media is going to spin this whole thing, but the American people, I believe like 70, 80% would say, you know what, this whole thing was a witch hunt. Trump was right. So David Bossie, he came out with an opinion piece today at Fox News. Trump impeachment vote is Democratic declaration of war. Republicans must declare war on the Democrats. This is a really great piece, so that's why I want to read some part to you guys. With House passage Thursday of a resolution formalizing their blatantly partisan impeachment witch hunt against President Trump, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her fellow crazed radical Democrats have declared war on the duly elected President of the United States. Now it's time for Republicans to draw up their own declaration of war against Democrats. The Democrats, who didn't pick up a single Republican vote for their baseless resolution to move forward with a kangaroo court masquerading as public impeachment hearings, are choosing to tear apart the country we all love because they are consumed by their burning hatred for President Trump. This is all it's about. This whole impeachment thing, from the beginning to the end, it's just Trump derangement syndrome and it's nothing else. It's just Trump derangement syndrome. Have you ever heard about it? You know, hatred for Trump to such an extent that they would do anything to bring him down. So the Democrats and the left-wing people, they're just focused on power. They're not focused on justice. That's the theme here, okay? So the charade isn't about anything President Trump has done wrong because he hasn't done anything to warrant impeachment. Instead, the Democrats are improperly using the impeachment process to weaken public support for the president in an effort to defeat him in the 2020 presidential election. The American people must hold the Democrats accountable for their abuse of power. Yes, I believe that. They will. They will do that. And he continues, as the Democrats well know, they have no valid grounds for impeachment. 29 of the 31 House Democrats who represent districts that Trump won in the 2016 election voted in favor of Thursday's deep state coup authorization. This is nothing but a coup. Yes. This is just a coup d'etat. This is not even about impeachment. This is coup. This is about bringing down a duly elected president. They're just these people are just nimrods, lunatics. I think we are at a tipping point. This is like civil war. America is at a tipping point. We have to make things right. I believe Attorney General William Barr, U.S. District Attorney John Durham, they're gonna investigate this whole situation. I'm not talking about the Ukrainian situation, about the Russia collusion hoax. And I think a lot of people will be charged. Probably even Barack Obama. Probably even Barack Obama. Why? Because he was mentioned between the text, right? Between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, right? If you check out the text messages, Obama's involved. So why not? Why not, right? He should be investigated for that, right? I think a lot of people believe that. I believe that. I think Obama should be investigated. He has to tell the American people whether he was behind wiretapping President Trump, the Trump Tower, when he was president-elect. He has to come out. I want a journalist to ask him a question. Hey, did you wiretap? Were you behind wiretapping President Trump at Trump Tower? Were you behind this whole thing? Then if it's true, why did you do that? Why did you wiretap a presidential candidate, a Republican presidential candidate? What did you want to know? I believe Obama is the most corrupt president in American history. So 29 of the 31 House Democrats who represent districts that Trump won in the 2016 election voted in favor of Thursday's deep state coup authorization, and they're all going to suffer at the polls a year from now because of it. The lack of judgment on display by the desperate Democrats who fear that Trump's enormous achievements in office will ensure his re-election is stunning, because Trump has been achieving marvelous things so far, okay? Deregulation, pulling out of the Paris Accord, pulling out of the Iran deal, right? Dealing with North Korea, right? And changing all the trade deals with South Korea, Japan, and China, and Europe. All the previous administrations, they didn't do anything about it. They didn't even talk about it. You know? Who among you thought a lot about trade deal? You know, nobody even talked about it during presidential election cycles, right? It was Trump. And Trump has been talking about it since the 80s. You know, there's something wrong about this. You know, we can't just keep on importing Japanese products. We got to export, right? Who talked about it? Only Trump, right? That's why people elected him. That's why Rust Belt chose him, and I believe they will choose him again in 2020. And I believe the Democrats, they're going this route because they do not have any other route to beat Trump. Warren can't beat Trump. Biden cannot beat Trump. Pete Buttigieg cannot beat Trump. Andy Yang cannot beat Trump. Okay, Tulsi Gabbard can't. Cory Booker can't. Do you think any of them can? They can't. So that's why they're going this route. And they don't have anything left because they're so freaked out about the IG report. They're freaked out whether Barack Obama will be, implicated there, right? Their hero. The Newsweek said it's their god, right? And John Durham report. I think that's going to be huge. I think it's going to bring in a lot of people to jail. I think they're going to go to jail, right? They should, if they were involved in all this wiretapping and stuff, and they fabricated this whole thing. What did William Barr say? What did William Barr say? He said the predicate should be right. But we all know that it wasn't right? The Christopher Steele dossier, it's fabricated. Even Christopher Steele couldn't verify whether it's true or not. Even James Comey said under oath that he couldn't verify it. Yet they used that to surveil Trump campaign, Carter Page, right? So David Bossie, he continues, the Democrats are ignoring headlines such as polls show support for impeachment weaker in key battleground states. This is a recipe for a Democratic disaster in the 2020 elections, including Andy Kim Yu, right? You voted for it. A lot of people are disappointed. In New Jersey, the 3rd district. I thought that he would be more of a moderate Democrat. It seems like he has decided to follow Nancy and Adam Schiff. And he continues, but driven by Trump derangement syndrome, Democrats are determined to pursue impeachment regardless of the harm it causes to our nation and to their own party. The sad truth is that the impeachment resolution approved Thursday isn't worth the paper it's been printed on. There is a 0% chance the Democrats will abide by anything written in what amounts to a non-binding piece of trash. It's a complete smokescreen designed to mislead the American people. Okay, this is a marvelous piece. It's just a wonderful piece. I really recommend everybody to check out at foxnews.com. Pelosi, fellow California Democrat and House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff and their Democratic co-conspirators in their attempted coup are going to do whatever they want, however they want, because they think the rules do not apply to them. After all, who's going to call them out for their misdeeds? We're not expecting the mainstream media to call them out. They're partisan allies at the fake and corrupt New York Times and Washington Post. Come on. After all, who's going to call them out? They're partisan allies at the fake and corrupt New York Times and Washington Post. Of course not. New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, they're all fake news. LA Times too. Let's face it. I'm talking about regarding politics, okay? Let's face it, unhinged, radical Democratic representatives, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota are calling the shots on behalf of a mob of anti-Trump socialists who have seized control of the Democratic Party. Sadly, the biased mainstream media are willing accomplices in this anti-Trump hysteria. The fourth estate will never recover from this epic failure of duty. I think a lot of people have already decided not to believe what the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN has been reporting. I have met so many friends, at least I would say among my friends who were Democrats, far left, they all voted for Hillary. Half of them do not believe CNN, New York Times anymore. So I think that's huge. It's California, the deep blue LA, California, okay? And they say, I can't believe it. I don't even want to watch CNN. I mean, they don't go as far as to say they support Trump, but now they're doubting what they're reading and hearing, which is a good thing, okay? Right? Isn't it a good thing? So he continues, if Biden were a Republican, you can bet dozens of reporters would be working full-time to get the truth about this scandal, looking to win the Pulitzer Prize. But because he is a Democrat, the anti-Trump media is giving Joe Biden and his son a free pass. They are swallowing the unbelievable claim that Hunter was paid $50,000 or more per month to serve on the board of a Ukrainian natural gas company, even though he had no expertise in natural gas or Ukraine. Right? Think about it. Why didn't they give it to Goldman Sachs? Why didn't they give it to Morgan Stanley or some other specialized entity? Why Hunter Biden, the guy who got kicked out of the Navy by smoking cocaine? Huh? By snorting cocaine, I would say. So he continues, this is not the Nixon impeachment of 1974 or the Clinton impeachment of 98, where there was actual criminal wrongdoing. Bill Clinton even lost his law license, right? This is a political coup attempt against President Trump and his 63 million voters because Democrats fear they cannot defeat him at the ballot box. So this is what it is. They're not attacking Trump. They're attacking us. They're attacking the American people who voted for Trump. Trump is just a symbol. The Dems, the mainstream media, they're out there to attack Americans, especially middle America, Rust Belt. So we have to fight against this nonsense. We have to try to awaken people who are brainwashed by the mainstream media. Okay, we're going to check out some news headlines and Twitter feeds. Molly Hemingway tweeted this, media obsession with a whistleblower until the precise moment he became a liability is very reminiscent of media obsession with the Russia hoax dossier until the precise moment it became a liability. So many similarities between the two operations, right? It is. It's very reminiscent, right? I told you, they just switched countries from Russia to Ukraine. That's pretty much it. Let's move on to the next page. Lisa Mae Crowley tweeted this: he will punch back 10 times harder. Watch out, deep state. Let's check out the next page. Ryan Saavedra tweeted this: former CIA Director John McLaughlin on an intelligence official sparking Democrats' attempt to impeach President Trump. Thank God for the deep state. Can you believe that? Former CIA Director saying thank God for the deep state. This is the same individual who said there is no deep state. Dan Bongino. Let's tweet the next page. Dan Bongino tweeted this: the Democrats voted to impeach the president for something the Democrats did with the Ukrainians, and the liberal hacks in the media couldn't care any less because they were part of it. Disgraceful. Let's check the next page. Trump tweeted this: while the do-nothing Democrats fail the American people and continue the impeachment scam, my administration will continue to deliver real results as seen over the past month. Below. And you can see that 23-second video clip of all the accomplishments Trump has achieved the past 3 years. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Fox, I think this is the latter part, so I'll just read this one first. The public is watching and seeing for themselves how unfair this process is. Can we go for the next page? Okay, Adam Schiff has taken all of the power for himself. That is very unfair. There were dozens of people on this call. Yesterday's witness knew that and had no problems, nor did any of them. Facts matter, and that's why this is not about impeachment. Guy Lewis, a former prosecutor. Let's go to the back page. And the public is watching and seeing for themselves how unfair this process is. Corrupt politicians, Pelosi and Schiff, are trying to take down the Republican Party. It will never happen. We will take back the House. Okay, let's move on to the next page. ISIS has a new leader. We know exactly who he is. Okay. Let's go to the next page. The Democrats are so immersed in this scam, they couldn't care less about the American people. This is what Rush Limbaugh from the EIB network, that's what he said, and Trump tweeted this. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Chicago will never stop its crime wave with the current superintendent of police. It just won't happen. Thank you to Kevin Graham and all of the great police officers, Chicago police officers I just had the privilege to meet. Tremendous crime-fighting potential if allowed to do your thing. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Betsy Woodruff Swan tweeted this. This is what I just told you in the opening. Tim Morrison said he didn't think the president broke the law on his call with Zelensky, being the Ukrainian president, and that he did not think there were any meaningful lines missing from the White House memo about that phone call. Republicans see the statement as very good news. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Arden Farhi tweeted this. CBS News has learned NSC's Senior Director for European Affairs, Tim Morrison, was on the Trump-Zelensky call and told the investigating committees, I want to be clear, I was not concerned that anything illegal was discussed. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Oh yeah, by the way, Donald Trump moved his residency from New York City to Florida. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House, is a place I have come to love and will stay for, hopefully another 5 years as we make America great again. But my family and I will be making Palm Beach, Florida, our permanent residence. I cherish New York and the people of, let's go on to the next page, New York, and always will. But unfortunately, despite the fact that I pay millions of dollars in city, state, and local taxes each year, I have been treated very badly by the political leaders of both the city and state. Few have been treated worse. I hated having to make, let's go on to the next page, this decision, but in the end, it will be best for all concerned. As president, I will always be there to help New York and the great people of New York. It will always have a special place in my heart. Let's go on to the next page. Laura Ingram tweeted this. The Dems' days of bullying the American people are over. They will not disenfranchise the voters in 2020 with a sham impeachment. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Paul Sperry. Breaking, a reporter who now works for the New York Times failed to report on public records which he obtained in April that cut against Senator Elizabeth Warren's claim that she was fired from a teaching position in 1971 due to pregnancy discrimination. I already told you guys that this whole thing was a sham, that Elizabeth Warren lied about it. She was never fired. She was never let go of her position. Actually, the school wanted her to stay, but it was her who chose not to because she wanted to pursue a different profession. So she's a liar, a fraud. And you know about all the whole DNA deal, so I won't even get into that. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Laura Ingram, Dems don't care about Ukraine, Chicago violence, Russia, homeless crisis, opioids. They only care about power. Mueller flopped, now it's on to plan B with same IC origins. So let's move on to the next page. Tom Fitton, DOJ has found evidence there could be crimes behind targeting Trump. It helps explain who the coup cabal is protecting. Obama, Clinton, Biden, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, McCabe, Lynch, Rice. And Orr mean Bruce Orr. He's a Korean American. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, this was the one that I was talking about today, the opinion piece that I read to you guys. David Bossie, Trump impeachment vote is Democratic declaration of war. Republicans must declare war on Dems. Let's go on to the next page. Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch has filed an official complaint with the Office of Congressional Ethics about Representative Ilhan Omar potential violations of law. Let us know if you agree that Representative Ilhan Omar should be investigated by signing the petition here. You guys should check that website out. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Breitbart News, winning. Black unemployment drops to lowest level ever. It came out at the Drudge Report and also Breitbart. Okay, well, that's our show for today. Our show is not about left or right. It's about right or wrong. To stay up to date with our latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.